As you are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. I'm using my radio voice today because I'm in Southern California. That gentleman out there is
Jay Silverman, Phoenix, Arizona.
Jay is frozen again, but that's okay. He's back now. See, we're at the mercy of the internet. No, you're good. You're good. Just want you guys to know we're on 5G. So this is it for us, okay? We are busy dissecting and breaking the seal on Casazul. Now this one, look at the color on this thing. That's beautiful, man. That's a nice deep color. And this is the Anejo. If you've watched our Blanco and Reposado renditions, and you know that we have gotten a very similar flavor and aroma profiles from both the Blanco and the Reposado. I'm anxious to see what they did with this Anejo, though.
There's not a ton of information out there about this brand so far. When you try to do a little research, you're not going to find a whole lot, but it's they're starting off in Southern California. They have a home base there, and they're gaining a strong following. But there's some really nice. The bottle has a really nice look to it. So I think if people see this, they're definitely going to be curious and want to pick one up and check it out. Especially at the price point that they're at. I think it's really fair because the Blanco starts at 29, Reposado's at 35 or 40, and then I think this is under 45. So if that's the case, I think people are going to be very interested. It's a really attractive bottle. The cap too it's got that nice on there, and it's I just love that classic black and gold. It reminds me of, I was looking at the rye whiskeys the other day, how they all have like a dark green and gold. There's a lot of theme with the rye category, but with the Anejo tequilas, you'll see that nice black label on a couple brands. It's pretty sexy, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's a sleek, sexy look. I actually had to nominate it for Brand of Promise in the packaging category.
You can't get much better when it comes to the coloring. Like it really, I'm gonna pour some into the glass, but the coloring on this bottle, it just screams like this is a great sipping tequila. They definitely got the color that you want in that bottle. It's gorgeous.
Now, I will tell you that and I may have told this story in the Blanco, the Reposado version, but you're right in that they are Southern California mostly and probably Costco at this point. But I will tell you that the brand has suffered some fits and starts, and then the new investors reached out to us late in 2020, like December 2020, and I said, "Well, I've been chasing you guys for 2 years. Send me the bottles and let's put it through the gauntlet." And they were nice enough to have that happen, and I appreciate those folks. So I know that they are geared to. Of course, COVID has kind of put the kibosh on a lot of marketing plans, but they are. You might call it a firm relaunch, where I think they're really going to attack the market, and that's good because, like you said, there's not a whole lot of information about them. But guys like us, we want to know. Like we don't even know how long this has been aged. It's an añejo, so we know it has to be somewhere between 1 and up to 3 years. So we know that for sure.
Right. Yes, in about 2 years, but. No, it definitely appeals to it looks like, something you would see in Beverly Hills or something with the nice packaging, and it's got the name, of course they have a good recognizable name, so we'll see how it compares.
It's very similar to that other one in the porcelain blue bottle. So
the other Azul, so if you Google Casazul, you might get the wrong result. You might get something from Clase Azul, but it's if they can compete flavor wise and beat them on the price, you never know.
Well, now I'm getting even more of that aroma, that orange aroma that I was getting in the Reposado is just coming right up to meet you. The recommended serving suggestion was something in a fluted glass, so I'm using Riedels today. I think Jason has a Sergio Bormioli. That's a beautiful Italian etched glass he's using. And I got to tell you, Jay, I love the legs and tears on this thing.
Yeah.
That's just some gorgeous legs. I mean, they're thick and wow, man. This is more what I'm used to. I noticed them in the Blanco, which is really rare, and even rarer in a Reposado.
Brings me back to the early days of sipping tequila when I was first starting out, and you just love the thrill of a great añejo. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
The appeal of a great añejo. It can't be beat sometimes. You know, and especially in wintertime, like this time of year, you're just like, okay, one of these every night, that'll cure what else.
By the fire.
Yeah.
even though your evenings are like my evenings, are maybe 50, 60 degrees, you know, but
reminds me of a trip I drove out to New Mexico once.
That's cold, dude.
One of my trips to New Mexico reminds me of going and then stopping at a hotel, and I had a nice Anejo tequila outside on the patio.
Yeah. Well, and it gets cold. It does. I lived in New Mexico for 15 years, so I know that nighttime is like living on Mars, especially during the summer, because it could be like 90 degrees, and then at night the temperature drops like 30 degrees, and it's like all of a sudden you're still wearing a hoodie. You know what I mean? So it's like weird. And then monsoon season's fun. Okay, I'm getting a lot more of that orange. It's like a bright orange this time.
Orange rind, yeah. Get a little of the bitterness from the orange zest and the rind, you know. You know, you get a very light caramel aroma, almost like a what do you call that? Franzipan stuff. What do you call that?
Marzipan.
Yeah, sorry.
Franzipan.
It's lighter. It's not my everyday. It's lighter than a lot of the oak and vanilla.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of baking spice on this one. It's more like close to dried fruit almost.
Yeah. Well, it follows through on the lightness and the elegance of the Blanco and the Reposado, and it kind of comes through in the Anejo too as being having a lighter touch on the distillation.
Okay. Well, let's dive in. Let's see what we got. Oh. Oh wow, way better, man. Oh, that's way palatable. I kind of enjoyed that. I will say that on the first pass, it went in sweet, finished a little bit dry, and on the rear of the palate, you get more of that dryness. But you're right. I think the finish is becoming longer and longer now because of the barrel.
Get some nice dried cherry right there.
Yeah.
So I actually got a nice sweetness on the front, and it was really it was anticipated, but it wasn't too much. It's just a well-made tequila. It had the nice sweetness, and then you do get that balance of the dryness coming through, and on the finish. Mm-hmm. But I had that burst of cherry wood right there. It was actually really nice. They did a good job with the añejo. So far, that would be my favorite out of the three that I've tried. But yeah, I'm liking that. That's nice.
I do too. I agree. I'm very impressed.
Opening up pretty well too. It's got a nice that dried fruit and some of the dried papaya and pear in there as well. It's got that nice touch on there because you get the elegance, but with the aging, you get that little bit more of that depth of flavor. It's really good.
Yeah, and I think that's what it was that the Blanc and the Reposado were missing. There wasn't that depth that Jay and I are used to looking for. Okay,
I mean, I'll admit I'm a bit of a snob with some of these.
Yeah,
my standards are ridiculously high sometimes.
Yeah, well, I try. I'm always up for something new. Always.
Yeah.
Because Jay and I, last time we got together, we did this Sotol that.
I'm still trying to figure that out. I gave a sample of that to a friend who's a real whiskey drinker. And I'm still waiting to hear what he thinks. He's still probably trying to figure it out.
Yeah. So we like complexity. We understand and we look for it, no matter what the complexity is. And I gotta say, you're right. The depth of flavor, there's more complexity in this flavor profile. Let me give you the ins and outs, okay? So let's just dive into all the information that we got. We don't have much on how long it's aged. It's a fairly new brand. They're going to hopefully relaunch with new investors. This is Gnome 1489. For those of you who are familiar with that gnome, it is Destilería Leiros. A lot of brands come out of there recently. Maybe those of you who are familiar with the Hispanic market, you've seen El Rey de los Cielos, you've seen Jenny Rivera, you've seen La Reina del Sur. Those brands come out of there also, as well as the ever popular Casa de Aragones. I've not had the Casa de Aragones Anejo. I don't even know if they make it, but I know that they have other iterations. But I'm really digging this. This is the star of the show so far. I agree with you.
Well, I mean, when you mention Casa Dragones, you kind of have to mention Casa Dragones. It's on a par with Casa Dragones for me, but it's at a more accessible price point. So that's a plus.
Yes.
The thing is, like, as a purist, this is a more modern distillery, but the people love Casa Dragones. And I'm not talking about any old people. I'm talking about people like Tom Colicchio and Eric Ripert, like some of the greatest chefs of our time. I mean, they butter them up a little bit, but with the etched bottles with their name engraved on them.
Yeah.
But, people like Scott Conant, Tom Colicchio, Eric Ripert, they're going on record like time and time again saying, this is what I drink. And they have a bottle of Casa Dragones all the time. So, there's got to be there definitely is an appeal there. So they've definitely hit it out of the park with that crowd. But this stuff compares favorably. Casazul, if that's what they're going for, using the same distillery to appeal to that fine dining crowd, and some of that elegance is definitely coming through, and it's working for them. It's good.
Well, I have a feeling that this is an añejo you can really work a cocktail with as well. Maybe a Latin Manhattan. I think personally it would stand up to
an old fashioned with this later. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh man, I haven't had a good old fashioned at home in a while.
Yeah, it's got some good qualities to it. It is the brand idea. The guy who developed it, his name is Bruce Warner, and he's got every box is signed, every bottle is signed. I think that's exactly this. How we're dissecting this right now is probably what he had in mind. And if you're the kind that likes the Casa de Dragones, but you don't want to spend an arm and a leg to get the bottle, you're looking at some really good stuff here. This to me right now is the star of the show. I think that the complexity on this one is even bold enough to stand up to a cigar. Jay doesn't smoke cigars, but I do. Unless I don't know something about Jay that.
Well, I've been learning more about them. Recently I've been around cigars a lot more, so I've been learning a little bit more. But that would be a great pairing for sure.
As this opens up, I'm getting more of the caramel from the barrel. As I consume a little bit more of it, it gets sweeter on the nose that you didn't get at the beginning. For me, anyway.
Yeah, it's good. It's got a nice little burst of agave in there too. That it's amazing how that comes through. But it's really mellowed. And the barrel, I'm dying to know like where they got those barrels. I'm gonna have to try to see if we can find out exactly where they got the barrels. Maybe
I would love
that in the comments in YouTube. If anybody knows?
Yeah, if you guys know, if you're watching us on YouTube or listening to us on a podcast, shoot us an email or leave a comment down below. But that's our take on Casazul or Casazul. This is the añejo version. I can't wait to taste the extra añejo. That's the one I've been hankering for since this whole thing started. But I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That gentleman out there is
Jay Silverman out in Phoenix, Arizona.
You've been watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. You can follow Jay on his own Instagram as well. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, give us a like, and whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely, friends.